All right, we'll get started in that comfortable seat, maybe on top of a blanket or blocker, bolster to elevate the hips. And just allow yourself to land. Noticing here, if you would like to send the crown of the head a little higher, lift the heart slightly. Noticing if you are hunching or rounding in. And gently drawing yourself to center, observing if you were leaning way far back, left or right, drawing yourself to center. Observing any sensations that stand out to you. Just letting the mind quiet at the end of the day, beginning to feel into the body, noticing perhaps an absence of sensation. And beginning to notice your breath. Noticing the length of the inhale, any texture along the way, and length of the exhale, and texture of the exhale, just observing. I invite you to breathe in and out of the nose if that feels comfortable to you today. And if you're breathing exclusively from the mouth, I encourage you to slow that breath down, as that can take more energy when we breathe exclusively from the mouth. Gently, we'll drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And let gravity begin to release your neck, tightness we carry throughout the day from working or driving, maybe rounding over at a desk. An option to stay just as you are or send the left hand out to the side. Really letting that right ear relax down towards the shoulder. Keeping eyes soft or closed. Let the head feel heavy. And continuing to monitor the breath, just noticing. Noticing if you begin to hold the breath at any time, can you come back and take that inhale? Knowing you can reset your breath at any time. Letting the breath be the foundation and gravity our assistant. Feeling elongation on the left side of the neck, ear growing heavier towards the shoulder. Gently send the right palm up overhead, place it just above the left ear or towards the crown of the head. Little self-assist here, relax the left hand. And feel the depth of the stretch increase. Not forcing, a gentle self-assist here. Releasing all that tension we carry. Just let it melt away. Throughout our practice, we will be holding postures between 2 and 5 minutes. So at any time that you feel you need a little wiggle, give yourself permission to do so, making micro adjustments, that knowing that we're not statues. It's okay to reset yourself. And also knowing that everything is an offering and your body is truly your best teacher. Inhaling, press your head up into your hand to come upright, moving nice and slow. Release the right palm. And draw your chin into your chest. Slowly find some intuitive movement here, maybe finding some slow nose, looking left and right. Maybe some half circles. Just rolling it out however feels nice to you in this moment. Alleviating some of that stiff sensation. We'll gently make our way over to the left ear, leaning towards the left shoulder. Feel elongation on the right side of the neck. Staying just like this, or perhaps you send the right hand out to the side, finding that anchor. Tall spine, gravity guiding that left ear towards the shoulder. Head is heavy, breath is soft. Let that tension just melt away. And maybe you feel little bits of tissue softening up. More of a crackly texture than a soft texture. Gently we'll send the left palm up overhead, pressing it just above the right ear or slightly towards the crown of the head, wherever is comfortable for you. And a little bit of pressure, very light here in the hand, guiding that left ear even closer to the left shoulder. Option to relax the right hand or leave it as an anchor at your side. Sensation may increase for some of us here. And paying attention to the intensity, is it still a comforting sensation? If it becomes a little too much, just soften the pressure, come a little more upright. Relaxing into it and letting go of any expectation. And slowly press your head into your hand to come upright, moving nice and carefully here. Release the left hand. Find a few intuitive movements with the neck, keeping mobility in the cervical spine, maybe some circles, half circles, rocking the head side to side and back to stillness. We'll gently begin in a supported or unsupported child's pose. It's option to keep something under the knees, the head, or the torso. We'll start with the knees together today. So knees together, big toes together, and option for that blanket under the knees, maybe under the head and the heart, you find a pillow or a bolster or blocks. Sliding the palms forward, hips over the heels, forehead comes down. And if you find there's discomfort in the shoulders, send the palms behind you and let the palms face up for embryo. If you would like the hips to be a little more elevated to take flexion out of the knees, you can roll a blanket or fold one and place it, or a sweatshirt, something soft, towel, place it underneath your thighs, over the calves, and then find your depth of how far you'd like to fold. And maybe you still have something under the forehead. And breathing into it here. Coming inward. And with our face down towards the earth, just feeling what comes up for you in this stillness, this quiet, little bits of light peeking through. And if your forehead is all the way down to the earth, notice here if the texture under the mat is comfortable, or is it lumpy, and you can roll your forehead side to side, just finding that spot where you feel nice and supported and still. Getting out any last wiggles, maybe adding a prop or taking one away. So no props required. They're just a nice add-on that can help you find your best alignment. And feeling the shoulders softening, opening, observing what might be a strong sensation and feeling it soften, growing more and more subtle as the body creates space. And gently roll forward, coming into a tabletop. Guide the palms a little bit towards the knees. So shoulders are over your wrists, hips over your knees, and maybe you find a blanket under the knees. We're going to open up the shoulders and thread the needle. So right hand will reach high, inhaling to reach up. And then exhale, thread the needle. Right arm swims under the left. Right ear and right shoulder come down to the mat, maybe on top of a blanket or towel. And the left fingertips crawl towards the left corner, top of the mat. Press the hips back. And breathe into it. The belly may be against the thighs. You'll continue to feel a low back release here. Let the belly expand like a balloon. And if you've walked the fingertips far forward out of comfort, just plug the shoulder back into the socket, slide the arm back, and maybe something underneath the wrist could be a little nice, rolling the mat a few times, just a little pat under the wrist, or perhaps something nearby within reach. Not anything too high could be nice. So I'd say a medium setting on the block or low setting on the block. Be the highest to elevate your arm. You want to keep it below shoulder level or at shoulder level. And continuing to feel this gravity pull you down into the earth. Earth rising up to meet you with each breath. Reconnecting with these spaces within us that we don't often give attention to, and discovering what comes up in those sticky, tight places. Allow yourself to soften just an ounce more anywhere you're gripping or holding. And gently, we'll slide the left palm by the face, press into the ground, send the right hand high, reach up, feel yourself expand. Little bit of movement. And exhaling, lower that right palm. Get a little wiggle out here. Setting up for the other side, press the right palm into the ground. Inhaling, left hand reaches high. And then exhale, thread the needle, left arm swims under the right, left shoulder, left ear come down. Spider crawl the right fingertips to the top of the mat. Press your hips back and breathe. Feeling the difference on this side. Letting the shoulder release, the low back release. Letting the belly expand. And perhaps on this side, you'd like a towel or blanket under the head. And get out those last wiggles coming into your variation. And perhaps you begin to notice noises in the stomach, a little gurgling, digestive sounds of the parasympathetic nervous system activating, which happens when we drop into relaxation. This is very much a rest and digest aspect of practice, and a beautiful practice before or after a mealtime. And feeling those layers of tissue soften, muscles relaxing. And gently we'll slide the right palm back by the face, press into the ground. Inhale, send the left hand high, reach up. Then exhale, lower the left palm. Coming to sit on our knees. We'll take Gomukhasana. So I'm turning to face you all to see. And we'll take the right knee over the left knee. So sitting upright. Knees will cross or stack, and wiggle your feet a little bit forward. Sits bones supported, evenly rooted on the earth. Maybe a blanket under the hips for a little support. And here, you may or may not have a big gap between the knees. If you would like to close this gap with something, a blanket could be really nice in this space, or a towel, something soft, a foam block, just for a nice grounding sensation. Over time, as the hips open, this gap will close. And if there's a lot of discomfort in the knee, draw the heels closer in towards you, or you could slide the knees apart, send one shin slightly forward, and just feel the outer hip sensation. Releasing, option to stay upright, or you can fold forward, and if you choose to fold, walk the fingertips forward and fold with a flat back, hinge at the hips, belly over the thighs, maybe the chin comes in. Once you find you can't fold anymore with the flat back, then you can round a little bit, drawing the chin into the chest, maybe relaxing the chin over the knees. Maybe elbows come down and you interlace knuckles, relaxing the forehead there. If you're using props today, a block can be really nice at an angle or flat on the ground on the tall setting. And wherever you are, take a deep inhale and deep exhale. Settling in, letting the hips release in their own time. Another name for this pose, other than Gomukhasana, is shoelace. And I like to think about when a little kid goes to tie their shoes the first few times and how difficult it is to make a knot, a simple knot. And they try these ways of making bunny ears or going under a log. And we get caught up in a story. And the movement, the action being simple, it's surprising how simple it is to just take the action and how hard it is to let go of the story. Whatever you're feeling, any knots, any story, if you're caught up in something in your mind, just take a deep breath and allow yourself to be in this shape, in this action as a simple step in the direction of anywhere you're trying to go. And knowing that on your mat, there's no hurry to go anywhere. All you have to do is be here now. And slowly, if you're folded, come upright. We'll switch to the stack of our knees. Left knee over the right, move with care, wiggle your feet in between as you need. And this side may be very different than the last side. So wiggling our feet forward, notice right away, how do the hips feel? How do your knees feel? And that gap between the knees might be very big or smaller on this side. You may want to bring the heels in closer towards the thighs or send that knee even further out to the side, just finding what works for you. And a cross-legged seat can be nice as well if there is discomfort in the knees. So here, sits bones are rooted, letting the outer hips open up progressively. Option to stay upright or fold, just as we did on the last side. And perhaps this side is very, very different. Honoring where you are. And if you're folding with that flat back until you find your edge, maybe a bolster under the head. And you can round a little bit in when you find your edge, drawing your chin to your chest, or relaxing the forehead on those knuckles, maybe a block. If you used a specific prop on the last side, I invite you to try it on this side, but also know and witness what is it that you find you need in this moment. A little more height, maybe you have more space to fold lower. So honoring the depth that each side creates. Maybe the block at an angle on this side is serving you more than a flat block on the other side. And just witnessing day to day how very different the same shape can be when we come into it. Having patience in the process. Wherever you are in your variation, your shape, take a deep, nourishing inhale. And deep, clearing exhale. Allowing yourself to soften just a teeny bit more. And slowly, if you're folded forward, come upright. Pressing the hands into the ground, lifting the head and the heart. And we'll gently send both legs in front of us for a wide-legged forward fold. So you can begin here with a deep bend in the knees, maybe bringing something in front of you to fold over, like a bolster, stack of pillows, or soft things, and maybe blocks. With the feet flat on the floor, or you can have toes up to you. We'll reach up, inhaling, create space, and then exhale, hinge at the hips. Lead with your heart, fold forward with a flat back here. And maybe your head comes down. Maybe the legs begin to straighten or lower to the ground. You can always put blocks under the knees, blankets, something of the same height. And if you would like, you can always sit on top of something to elevate your hips. I am on a blanket, and you can start with a blanket and add more height or take away. Maybe starting with a bolster and working lower. So just up to you. And as you fold, noticing your depth, maybe the hands keep reaching forward and you can round the chin into your chest. If you're folding over a bolster, ensure that it's breathable with the forehead down. And if it doesn't feel comfortable or breathable, the slight tuck of the chin should create some space for some air to come through. And you're always welcome to drop one ear to the side. And get out any last wiggles here, coming into your variation. Hands can reach long in front of you or relax on your calves. Maybe they grip your toes. And energetically feeling the crown of the head reaching forward, heart leading forward towards the earth. And as you soften in the shape, maybe the depth of your fold increases towards the ground. You can drop elbows, create that interlaced knuckle pillow for your forehead, or maybe stack palms and lower your forehead closer to the ground. Or maybe the forehead comes right down to the ground right away if you're feeling comfortable and safe there. And wherever you are, feeling length in the hamstrings, the glutes, low back, relaxing your neck. Relax your hands, your shoulders. And feeling this length in the lower body, this expansion. Observing those places that have the strong sensations. Visualize that your breath moves towards those spaces. Visualizing the breath moving as a way of sending a little TLC, a little intention of care. And slowly, if you're folded forward, press your hands into the ground, walk the hands towards the hips, lifting the head and the heart. We'll gently draw the soles of the feet together, taking a Baddha Konasana, sitting upright, butterfly. Soles of the feet come together, knees out wide, option for something under the knees, maybe blocks. And here, send the crown of the head high. Feeling that length here. And then exhale, begin to fold, hinging at the hips. Lead with your heart. And it is okay to round your back here. Elbows can come to your knee creases. So here we have both external and internal pelvic rotation. Maybe your nose comes down to your toes today, or maybe you stay more upright with a pillow or a block to fold over, and you can always put something at an angle and lead the forehead at an angle. So just exploring how far you'd like to fold or how high upright you would like to stay. Relax your hands. And feel gravity guiding the hips open, knees falling closer to the earth very gradually. And having patience, like a butterfly in the cocoon, caterpillar, waiting for its wings. And slowly come upright if you were folded. And we're going to take deer pose. So moving if you are facing to the side, we're going to face the top of the mat. And I have my right shin facing the left side of the mat. My right hip facing the top of the mat. I'm going to pull a bolster up against this hip, and it'll be a twist and fold down. So if you have something to fold over to keep the head and the heart lifted, go ahead and set this up, bringing a pillow or bolster up against your hip. And we have a zigzag shape in the legs here. The sole of the foot does not have to touch the thigh. The left thigh is at an angle here, and the left shin is facing parallel to the back of the mat. So here you can twist gently and then fold down over a bolster, dropping one ear to the side. And if you're not using any props, just send the legs a little bit longer, create space for the belly to expand. And you can stack your palms and rest your forehead on the stacked palms, or separate the thumbs, create a little diamond shape between the index fingers and the thumb tips, and you can rest your forehead there. Letting the belly expand like a balloon. You'll feel the outer hip release, the low back release, and this also helps to stimulate and support digestion. So deep rest and digestive support. Relaxing into it, whatever variation you take, and you can always draw the knees in a little closer or send the legs further away. Get out those last wiggles. Relaxing into it. If you find yourself gripping the hands, flip the palms to the sky as a gesture to receive and soften. Letting go of force. And gently, we'll switch sides. Press your hands into the ground or slide them back so they're under the shoulders. Gently press yourself up. And just a real gentle switch of the knees, coming into a sort of tabletop, stacking the left hip up against a prop if you're using one. Find that zigzag shape in the legs. So your right shin is parallel to the back of your mat. Left hip towards the top of your mat, and we'll go ahead and twist over that left hip and fold down. So the chest, the ear comes down, and whatever ear came down on the last side, we'll do the opposite ear this side. So the side feels evened out, and if there's any discomfort or pain, You can always put your forehead down, just knowing that we evenly set ourselves up, but sometimes we need more time on one side. So feel free to switch ears if you prefer. Maybe bend the hands a little wider if there's tension in the shoulders. And just check in with the belly. Can the belly fully expand comfortably? Check in with the legs. Do you need to draw the knees in a little closer or send the legs a little in? How does that change your sensation, your experience? Staying comfortably still, feeling heavier and heavier as the energy that doesn't serve you begins to disappear, evaporate, and you become lighter and lighter, lighter and brighter. Letting the weight be heavy with a sense of light, working in opposition. And on this side, if you notice the hands are drifting and you haven't done so already, flip the palms to sky. And relax the eyelids, relax the jaw. Relax your feet. Maybe send the crown of the head a little further to the top of your mat. And feel how that space is there for you to relax. Just feeling these micro movements in the body, letting it lengthen and deepen in whatever way that is for you today. And gently, slowly press yourself up. And we'll pivot to our back. So you're going to sit upright and you can gently make your way to your back. We'll take a supported fish today. So if you'd like to leave a bolster up against the low back, you can feel free to lay down on that, drop one elbow down and then the other, and you'll feel the heart lift. Point your toes. You can stay just like this. option to take the butterfly legs with the soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Or if you are using blocks, you're welcome to take one block on the tall setting and one on the medium setting. The tall setting for your head, medium for the shoulders. And you could put a bolster or pillow over this, creating a soft ramp that you would lay over, or just the blocks. So I'll demo with just the blocks, dropping one forearm down and then the other. And you'll find the medium block under the shoulder blades, and not where it's bony, but just this little soft spot between them, lifting the heart. And the tall block under the head, you might wiggle them around a little bit until you feel maximum support. It shouldn't feel painful, just a nice supportive angle. You can always throw a towel over it as well. And pointing the feet or drawing the soles of the feet together. Relax the hands. Maybe the hands come out wide. Elbows come down. Feeling the lift of the heart. And if the legs are pointed, feeling all that length in the abdomen. Relax the toes. And you could have both blocks on the same setting if you'd like to lower the head. Getting out those very last wiggles. Relaxing into it. And in this heart opener here, I invite you to reflect on the reason you came to your mat today. And feeling your heart expand. And notice if that intention has evolved or changed in any way. And if there was no intention other than to keep a practice, witness your practice. You're here. You made it. You're practicing. Letting all of it be just that, a practice. You're welcome to stay right here or change the position of the legs. If you'd like to stay elevated for your final resting shapes, then stay here and maybe change the legs or add some props or take some props away. Otherwise, you're welcome to come to any other shape as your final resting shape. And if you'd like a traditional Shavasana, send the legs long, coming all the way down to the back. If you're coming up off the block or bolster, come up the way you came in, dropping one elbow down and the other. And then if you're lowering all the way down to your back, one vertebrae at a time. Notice if you would like to maybe throw a blanket over yourself if the space that you're in is chilly. Adding any last things to make you find your maximum comfort, place of surrender, where you can be still and present all at once. These next few minutes are yours in silence. Please enjoy this active rest. Shavasana. If you're ready to move on with your evening, find some wiggles in the fingers and wiggles in the toes. And if it's safe in the posture that you're in, rock your head side to side. And if you'd like to stay and rest, please stay as you are. For those moving on, roll over to one side using your arm as a pillow or an actual pillow, coming into a fetal shape, a symbol of rebirth from our practice into our day. And allow yourself to feel this transition, feeling your head heavy on your side. And you're welcome to stay here on your side, or if you are truly moving on with your night, press yourself up with your hands without hurry and come to that comfortable seat we began in, taking your time to get there. And feeling this change in energy, noticing anything that has shifted from when we began to now. And take a moment and together or visually in your mind, inhaling, send the palms up overhead, reach up. Exhaling, hands to heart center, thumbs into the sternum, and gently bow inward. I invite you to revisit any intention you may have set tonight throughout your practice. Or perhaps you allow one to come to you in your dreams and greet you in the next day. Thank you for sharing your practice with me and showing up for yourselves. Together we bow. Namaste.